Hi there, my name is Adam Wilson. I'm a recreational therapist working out of the Royal Rehab Spinal Injury Unit, and I've been asked today to talk about the benefits of recreational therapy and specifically gaming. Tons of benefits can be gained from partaking in both adaptive sports and really any form of recreational activity, whether that be sewing, kayaking, gaming, or mountain biking. They all have very specific benefits. For example, a lot of activities that require dynamic movements, like wheelchair basketball or cycling, for instance, are great for things like increasing your sitting balance, which transfers into lots of daily tasks like putting your shoes on or preparing yourself for transfers into cars or whatever else you're transferring into. Another thing that's important to note with the more physical and sport-based activities is they can provide young people with spinal cord injuries a way to increase cardiovascular fitness. This is really important as it can be a little bit harder now to increase that cardiovascular fitness. So staying on top of it is difficult and important. However, in most of the forms of recreation, the idea that you're able to maintain friendships with people is very important. And in a wider respect, the learning that happens when young people with spinal cord injuries get together and hang out. You might turn up to a game of wheelchair rugby, for instance, and whilst you're getting all the benefits of sport, as I mentioned, at the end of the match, you might also learn how the players are able to do everyday tasks like transferring into cars or, getting back into their day chair or, even getting their push gloves on and off. This is a very underrated area of learning. Now, gaming gets a bad rap, really, for making people irritable, and it's even been attributed to people being violent, which isn't necessarily the case, to be honest. Gaming can, in the right dosage, keyword there, right dosage, provide quite useful benefits for people with spinal cord injuries, especially those with issues affecting their upper limbs. Studies have actually suggested that whilst traditional rehab on average might include tens of repetitions during an upper limb session, gaming can have hundreds of repetitions for your upper limbs per gaming session. And because you're actually engaged in those hundreds of reps while you're gaming, because you've obviously got a common goal to achieve, these reps have been proven to be quite functional for your improvements. The other great thing about gaming with spinal cord injury these days is the actual pathways that are available to play competitively through accessible esports. Probably the best known example is an esports team by the name of the Quad Gods, a team made up of solely quadriplegics who play at the World Championships for accessible esports, which has a cash prize, by the way. Let's actually show you some adaptive equipment related to gaming and how you might be able to go about getting back into this recreation activity. Okay, so first and foremost, this is obviously an Xbox controller for those that are initiated. This is how you play games on the Xbox. However, there are people with issues with their hands, their upper limbs, that just can't use these tiny little buttons and joysticks. So, what do we have that's available? This here is the Xbox adaptive controller, and it is basically the exact same thing as this, except instead of having little joysticks, you've got many options for joysticks. These are really good options. These are palm sticks, really, really good. These are your goalpost topper joysticks. And this one specifically is called an FPS joystick. Really good for people that have spastic hands. The good thing about this joystick is you can control it just like, say, a power wheelchair joystick. You can also use your palm to touch this little switch here to engage a function in the game. Now, talking about switches, obviously these little buttons are Yeah, a little bit small, a little bit hard to access. So we have some other options for switches as well. And as you can see, they are quite varied. And the great thing about them is you can put them anywhere you want. They come in a nice little kit from Logitech that can be used with the Xbox adaptive controller.